Men don't fall because of failure. They fall because of the habits slowly killing them every single day. Habits they call normal. You used to be strong, used to lead, but now you live in silence, in delay, and in fear of change. Not because you've lost your ability, but because you've convinced yourself everything's fine. If you've ever felt unsteady in your 40s, like your life has lost its edge, like you're sinking into some nameless swamp, then this video is for you. I'll show you the 6 mistakes middle-aged men often make, and most importantly, how to break free. Don't look away. The most important part is coming. If you feel the positive energy, don't forget to like this video and share a meaningful comment. The biggest lie middle-aged men keep drilling into their heads is, it's too late. Too late to start over. Too late to dream. Too late to change. But here's the truth no one wants to face. You didn't stop because you're old. You stopped because you became a coward. You've lived like a ghost for years. Work, home, repeat. You gave up your passion for something called stability. You call your exhaustion responsibility. You tell your wife, your kids, your coworkers, and yourself that you no longer have the time, no longer have the chance, no longer have the energy. But the truth is, the only thing you no longer have is the belief that you can change. Your age, 40 or 50, didn't kill your dreams. The real killer is the mindset that gave up on reality. You use your kids as an excuse, your finances as a shield, society as something to blame. But when night falls and no one's around, and you're staring in the mirror, you know there's still something you want to do, still a dream you haven't touched, and you hate yourself for being too scared to go after it. What's truly terrifying about midlife isn't the hair loss, the growing gut, or having fewer people to talk to. The scariest thing is feeling trapped in a life you no longer control. A prison you built with your own hands, brick by brick, with safe decisions, endless maybe-laters, and years of living without a clear goal. So what if today is the beginning? You don't need to do anything drastic. You don't need to burn it all down and start over. You just need to change one thing, the belief that you still have a shot. Because the truth is, you do. There are people who've started businesses at 50, written their first book at 60, learned to love themselves at 70. They didn't do it because they were special. They did it because they didn't let that demon called too late eat them alive. If you're still breathing, you still have the right to change. No one's got you in chains but you. And if you keep sitting still, 10 years from now, it'll be you cursing today for not standing up. Your life doesn't end in midlife. It only truly ends when you choose to sit down and wait to die. No one's out to get you. You're the one killing yourself, slowly, steadily, and stupidly. That destruction has a name, neglecting your health. And the excuse gets played on repeat like a broken record. I'm really busy. It sounds harmless, but in truth, it's a clear sign you've lost control of your own life. You might be a good husband, a responsible father, a man who once had grit, but if your body is rotting from the inside, all those roles are just shadows, because you're slowly becoming a burden to the very people you once vowed to protect. You don't notice it at first, but one day, the doctor reads the test results, and suddenly the back pain, the belly fat, the short naps, and those little chest tightness episodes become your wake-up call. In your younger years, you thought health was a given. You lived like you were invincible, ate like crap, slept like trash, stacked stress like trophies. You ignored all the warning signs and blamed it on work, pressure, life. But no one forced you to eat fast food every day. No one made you stay up scrolling your phone. No one tied you to a chair and stopped you from moving. You chose that, and now you're paying for it. You know what the bitter truth is? It's when you finally want to change, but your body doesn't listen anymore. When your mind's still full of dreams, but your heart's worn out and your legs won't hold. When you want to live long enough to see your kids grow up, but your wrecked body drags you to the grave faster than all your high school buddies. That's when you'll understand. Laziness, disguised as being busy, is one of the dumbest choices a man can make. But if you're still reading this, there's still time. You don't need to do anything dramatic. You don't have to run a marathon or become a fitness coach. You just need to take the first damn step. Drink water instead of soda. Walk instead of sitting on your ass. Go to bed on time instead of grinding through another pointless hour. Your health doesn't need perfection overnight. It just needs to see you mean it. And if you're serious, your body will respond. A man doesn't get to be weak by default. Not because he can't be tired, but because he doesn't get to abandon himself. A middle-aged man doesn't need a six-pack, but he damn well better be a solid foundation for his family. You can't hold anything up if you're falling apart. Taking care of your health isn't a luxury. It's your duty, and the longer you put it off, the more brutal the price. So choose, take action today, or regret it flat on a hospital bed. There is no third option. There's a bitter joke playing out every single day in the lives of millions of middle-aged men. They think they're making money to provide for the family, build a career, secure the future. But the truth is, they're living like slaves, not to their boss, not to their company, but to the very money they think they're in control of. You used to believe that having money would make you freer. You worked your ass off for 10, 15, 20 years. Got promoted, saved up, bought a house, took on debt, invested, and one day you look around and realize you're just a rat spinning in a wheel with no way out. Every month goes by, you earn more, spend more, worry more. You're not controlling money, you're chasing it like a junkie chasing his next fix. The problem? No one teaches men how to understand money. They only learn that more is better. That a successful man is one with a high income. That if you don't have a house, a car, and a solid bank account, you're a failure. So you keep your head down, chasing dollars, investing, stacking up without realizing what it's costing you. Time with your kids, your health, your sleep, your peace of mind. And one day, you realize you've lost everything just to hold on to the one thing that's never enough. Money is a tool, not a master. But if you don't put it in its place, it'll pull your strings like a puppet. Don't confuse financial freedom with money obsession. Freedom is when you have enough to live according to your values, not when you kill yourself trying to have more than the next guy. Obsession is when you turn yourself into a money-printing machine, living to spend, then working more just to keep that spending loop alive. Try stopping for a moment. Ask yourself a simple question. What am I making money for? If the answer is just to survive, to pay off debt, to save face, then maybe you're doing it wrong. But if the answer is to buy time to live true to yourself, to do something meaningful, to help others, congrats. You're starting to own your money, not the other way around. You don't need millions in the bank to call yourself successful. You just need the clarity to know how much is enough and what really matters. A man isn't strong because of how much money he has. He's strong when nothing, not even money, controls him except his own will. The sweetest trap middle-aged men fall into isn't women, booze, or fame. It's that dangerously comforting feeling called, "I already know who I am." The moment a man starts believing he's fully defined, he stops. No more growth, no more learning, no more daring to reinvent himself. And from that point on, he starts dying, slowly, quietly, so subtle that no one even notices. You might be a director, an engineer, a longtime specialist, the family's backbone. But if your mind keeps playing on loop the thought, "I'm good as I am," then sorry, you're falling behind every day without realizing it. Society doesn't wait. Technology doesn't pause so you can catch up. The younger generation isn't hitting the brakes on their dreams just because you're still stroking your ego with 10 years of recycled experience. That proud, "I used to be," or "I already did," means nothing when the game has changed and you haven't. The scariest part? That false sense of safety your shell gives you. It makes you dodge every new challenge because "I've got nothing left to prove." It makes you look at others growing and respond with contempt or quiet envy. It kills your curiosity, your creativity, and your humility. The only three things keeping a man from turning into an outdated version of himself. But here's the thing. You don't need to change who you are completely. You just need to be honest. There are still things you don't know, skills you haven't mastered, better versions of yourself you haven't dared to pursue. And once you admit that, you'll realize this. Growth doesn't stop at 30, 40, or 50. It only stops when you stop allowing yourself to move 1 inch further. The man you were yesterday might have conquered, but if you keep clinging to him like a rusted metal, he'll drag you down. If you have the guts to smash that shell, to start over with humility, you won't just keep living. You'll live harder than ever before. A grown man doesn't limit himself to what he once was. He redefines himself. Every day, every challenge, every failure. And that's exactly why only the bold, those willing to break the shell, can truly own the rest of their lives. There's a hard truth few men dare to face when they hit middle age. You're no longer leading your own life. You're still working, still paying bills, still showing up to meetings and family dinners. But the leadership spirit, the thing that earns respect, not just obedience, has been quietly slipping away, and you didn't even notice. The reason isn't that you're weak. It's that you've made too many compromises. You compromised with exhaustion. You compromised with the safe choices. You compromised by becoming passive. Bit by bit, you retreated. Step by step, you let life pull you along. And at some point, you realized you're no longer the one steering anything. Not at work, not at home, and worst of all, not inside yourself. A man doesn't need to shout to be heard. He needs to stand firm, speak clearly, act decisively, and take responsibility. That's the foundation of leadership. But if every morning you wake up dreading the job you're doing, avoiding real conversations with your wife, dodging the hard work of raising your kids because you're too tired, then sorry, you're not leading anymore. You're hiding. Your family doesn't need a man who's always right. They need a man who can face his mistakes, fix them, and keep moving forward. They need someone who makes the call when things get messy. Someone who holds the fire, holds the line, holds the spirit. And out in the world, you don't have to be a CEO to lead. You just need to live with principles, stand for values, and be the guy who gets up when everyone else sits down. Then people will naturally look to you when chaos hits. Leadership isn't about a job title. It's about your daily choices. Do you choose to move forward or stand still? Face things or avoid them? Act or make excuses? If you keep letting life drift and say, whatever, it's fine, then you've already handed over the wheel of your life to chance. You don't have to control everything. But if you're no longer the one setting direction, then eventually everything around you will fall into disorder. Your family will lose its way. Your career will stall. You'll lose your sense of purpose. And worst of all, you'll lose the respect of the very people you once called your top priority. A man can lose many things in life: money, status, even his health. But if he loses the will to lead, then whatever's left is just a hollow shell with no aim. The question isn't whether you still have power. The real question is, do you still have the guts to take responsibility for the path you're on? No one teaches men how to be lonely. Yet somehow, by the time they hit middle age, most men pick it up fast. They sit alone in their cars, in coffee shops, in the living room at midnight. They go silent when something's wrong. They laugh off what's clearly not okay. And they chew on fear, sadness, anger in silence. Not because they don't need anyone, but because they're afraid of being seen in a vulnerable state. Men are conditioned from a young age. Strength means don't cry, don't complain, don't break. But no one tells them that the longer you suppress, the more dangerous it becomes. That kind of strength, when misapplied, turns into a chain. One that keeps you from opening up to anyone, even those closest to you. And before you know it, you've built yourself a small, cold cage called "I'm fine." The real danger isn't loneliness, it's intentional isolation. It's when you know you need help, but can't bring yourself to ask. It's when you're terrified that speaking up will make people see you differently, see you as weak, as pitiful, as less of a man. But what you don't realize is this: that very fear is what's eating you alive. That fear is what's making you more fragile than ever. Here's the truth. Everyone has weaknesses. The difference is, a real man faces his. He doesn't run. He looks his pain dead in the eye. He admits he's tired, lost, or in need of a push. That doesn't make him weak. It makes him brave. And bravery, not silence, is the true measure of strength. Don't let fake pride kill your ability to connect. You don't need a crowd, you need the right people. People who will listen, who get it, who still see you as a man even when you're breaking inside. Saying, "I need help," doesn't make you weak. Bottling everything up until it explodes, that's real weakness. Midlife is a pressure cooker. No one makes it through intact by willpower alone. You need people, you need connection. You need to let others see your wounds so you can rise stronger, sharper, more grounded. You're not a superhero. And thankfully, the world doesn't need you to be one. It just needs you to be real, honest, strong, but no longer living in fear. That's the first and most important step to living the rest of your life with meaning. If you recognize even one of these 6 mistakes in yourself, this isn't the time to feel ashamed. This is the time to wake up. Middle-aged men don't crash from one big shock. They die slowly, from small delays, soft excuses, and the habit of settling for less than what they're capable of. Stop making excuses. Stop saying, "I'm busy, I'm fine, I'm doing it for others." No one needs a man who sacrifices himself just to become a shadow of who he once was. If you're still breathing, that means you still have a choice. Repeat the past or start leading. For yourself, for your family, for the life you once dreamed of building. Don't wait until the day you have to apologize to the man in the mirror. Don't let people mourn someone who used to have potential. There's no shame in starting over, but burying yourself in fear and complacency, that is. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.